Hi there, my name is Sandy. I'm from Nat and Sandy Yoga, and the podcast called The Yoga Addiction. I'm here in the beautiful Chi Junkie Studios in Toronto, Ontario, to bring to you this wonderful little short snippet on myofascial release for the trapezius. Now, there's a full episode that we do of the podcast on what yoga teachers need to know about fascia, and I'll link it up down below, and so you can just click and sort of see through, hear what we have to say about that. But for today, this myofascial release technique, super simple. You'll need a block and 2 balls. You won't need 4. I just wanted to show you sort of the difference in sizes and textures and compressions of these balls. So for this release, you can use tennis balls. However, I find that the surface of tennis balls, because they're kind of furry, they tend to slip off of my clothing and my skin, so it doesn't work well for me. However, it's different for you. Maybe, your shape or your individual variance just allows for it to work. And I actually like these smaller ones just because I guess I'm a little bit smaller, and I like the precision that the smaller ones give. These are actually just lacrosse balls. They have a similar texture, but not a similar compression. They're a little bit harder. So again, it just depends on you. I'd say give it a go with whatever you have and see what works. So I'm just gonna roll these guys away or place them away and see if they sort of stay there. And I'm going to use these ones instead. So these ones I actually got from Rad Roller, and Rad Roller is probably the foremost producer of myofascial release balls. I'll also link up their products there, and these are just 2 of their rounds, similar size. You can also use their recovery rounds, which are a little bit bigger, but also very similar. So for this release, we're doing the trapezius, and before we do so, it is helpful just to reach over to one shoulder and feel for this muscle. So your trapezius connects from the neck, it wraps all the way down to the spine, the spine of the scapula, all the way to the acromion. So you can sort of just feel this upper trapezius here with your hand. It's sort of that like fold of your neck area. And give it maybe a little squeeze. And then with the myofascial release balls, eventually you will be placing them right on that muscle. So just approximately about there. So I'm going to come down onto the back. Have a block nearby, and then just with one hand at a time, placing the lacrosse balls or the myofascial release balls, whatever you choose to use, just underneath that muscle there. Now, you're not going to feel very much here, but when you lift your hips up, you can place the block. I like it on the medium level for my body, but you can try it on the low level, and then just decide if you need a little bit more pressure and take the hips maybe a little bit higher. And all this is doing is sending a little bit more body weight down into the trapezius and into the pressure point of that myofascial release ball. Now, take a moment. It's always nice when you just start the myofascial release just to feel the contact point and to allow yourself to relax into it. Trying to think about the tissues and the muscles and everything in between, just sort of like melting over the ball. And then once you do feel the ball coming up into the muscle, that's when we can add a little bit of a shearing force. And by shear, I mean a little bit of movement. So we'll slowly start to take the arms up towards the ceiling. You don't have to do really anything with your hands or your elbows there. We're just noticing as the shoulder blade moves, maybe even the arms go a little bit higher. As the shoulder blade moves, you do have a change in the trapezius, which will change how it's sort of interacting with the ball there. And then maybe coming back down. So you can do this a few times, maybe arms only as high as you need, just to feel that the muscle is changing underneath that contact point, adding that shear. It's moving underneath that contact point. Or a nice thing to do here is just like little circles with the arms, just feeling, again, not just movement of the muscle. You can go a little bit of a crisscross as well. Now with the movement, you can sort of just play with it. There's no real like stringent thing that you must do with your arms. You can even just lay and do nothing. But when you are done, take a moment and I always say this is the most important part of myofascial release, is to give yourself a few moments of rest. So we're going to take ourselves out of this position. Move the block, lower your hips low, and then slowly take the balls out of the way. So you can go ahead and just keep the balls in your hands, and then relax your arms down, relax your neck, and just allow for all the changes you've made to really sink in. The compression part of this myofascial release is very much so a hydration technique, meaning that we're looking to bring fluid into the points that we've compressed, that we've pushed on with the ball. So to give it a moment after you've done all of that, just to like let that fluid come in, come out, and sort of flush through those tissues. Then whenever you feel ready, you can come on up to a seat. We're all done here with the trapezius myofascial release. Now, before I sign off, there is a sister video that we've done for the gluteus maximus, which is your major glute muscle there in the hips. So if you are interested in a little bit more myofascial release, do click through to that one, and we'll have it easily linked up below. And please do check out our podcast. Again, it's the Yoga Addiction. We'd love to hear comments, love to see your iTunes comments as well. And finally, if you aren't already following us on Instagram and Facebook, we're just Nat and Sandy Yoga, and our website, natandsandyyoga.com. All right, thanks guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.